route.
Yes,
Did that go well?
And I did, and it went just fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Family's all good.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Oh, you
I spent just 2 hours trying to organize this. We got a couple more minutes last night. I wonder where Suzanne
recommend books like with the
Don't ask me. Fine, if you're not going to be here.
No, she said last time that she was
No, what if they?
going to be on a cruise.
They did ask. We do this.
It just sounds.
I'm more often say if I liked it or not, if they're, like I see they're checking out something.
Oh, have you read?
Yeah. It's sweet Christina or whatever. I'm more like respond after they've already chosen it.
Books are kind of like plants. If you don't like it, you can turn it in and tear it out. You know?
Oh, you do?
It's not a commitment.
You can
It's
weed
not a
it out.
life commitment.
I have a hard time stopping it.
Yeah. Do you? Going to be in
I
the
used to.
gallery.
Now I need to cover more books and so
So
now.
what was your,
Because otherwise I just have written in the same book just sits there and it's still.
Reception is right, and I know pretty much.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's going to be before the, or if I want to give it a chance.
Yeah, you can
Everything
usually
but
try.
your paintings, and I.
For 30 pages or so.
Usually bring
let
what
me
I
know.
need, I think.
okay.
So that's good.
Because I really like endings. That's like, I don't like when the topic is sort of, just comes to nothing. Like the last few pages, you still not exactly know.
Get your name, please?
Okay, good. You're welcome.
You usually go through slides?
No, no, I haven't.
Right, you walk. It's a Grand Prix.
Oh, I love it.
It's a whole,
It must be, it's eaten dead.
Here I am.
Friends stuff over my heart.
The last set I took.
Yeah, you do if you've been kind of flower through or slow periods and then you get there. But there's a lot of them
I had to go back and start.
I can, if I sit up here, then I can see you better. I was kind of,
I got 6 years. I got a
I don't think McCarthy's the road is like that. There's a couple of lots. There's a couple of lots that are wrapped up in it. Every time, I tell people, oh, if I read out, every time I'm showing or whatever, I read it again to see if it's really that, is it really that good? Yes, it is still that Yes.
we have a forum, so when we started about 27 early or something, they said, we're going to start. That really needs one, but do you have any speakers from the public? Nothing's in 5 minutes per speaker, 15 minutes per topic. No? Well, then let's move over then and go to the minutes of the previous meeting. I'm gathering that you've all read them so that we can use this as a consent agenda item. But for that, I should have somebody from the board move to do that.
I move that we accept the minutes as stated.
All in favor? And one abstain. All right. This is part we're going to turn it over to Michelle, because we're going to director's report. And you have,
I was going to, but I never got the chance.
well, I was going to, excuse me, I wanted to question the vote. There was 2 that voted for the motion, and then did Craig abstain, or did he vote for?
I abstained because I was not present at the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sorry to interrupt. So now to Michelle.
Okay. First up, is there any questions about the library statistics for August?
They
should include, the used book sale has its own line.
Okay.
We wanted to make sure to track that.
Right.
It did not ever go into the miscellaneous revenue.
She's
Oh,
got
I
some
see,
extra.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, if there aren't any questions about that, then I will move on to the next one, the new librarian. So I have hired a new person, her name is Annie Sprague, and she will start on Tuesday. She's gonna work for 30 hours, and she's gonna be a librarian, that's her title. She won't be restricted to any specific age group, and I've already got loads for her to do. Really looking forward to having some help. Okay.
Will she be able to meet the board at the next meeting?
I'm sorry.
Could she come meet the board? at the
Oh,
next
absolutely. Yeah, just to reiterate, I did invite the board, and Janet came and met her on the day she came in to meet our staff. Okay, so the next item is Felix Rimberg has been working with people in the library district, one being Charles Ryerson, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And Felix has come up with, working with Charles, I should just read you his email, and then he wasn't able to come to this meeting, but he said in the future he'll try to make it so he can explain it better. His email says, he'd given me some new figures for the population on the district. And basically what Felix was trying to do, when he found out the numbers that the county came up with for our area, he was aghast. He just didn't believe we had lost that many, so he decided to do some research, and this is what he found. Numbers wise, he found that we only, actually Charles came up with the number that we've only really dropped 134 people instead of the upwards of 3,000 that was the initial number. So Felix writes, this I believe is the definitive 2010 and 2000 population. You'll note that it stayed about the same, which provides no clue as to why our proportionate share of the levy declined so precipitously. Ryerson is the region's expert on these figures, and he used a GPS computer description of the district's boundaries from the staff at Clackamas County. I will get back into this when the deadline for other work passes. So he's going to continue to look into it. But if you'll notice, last month when I sent you that correction, remember when you were asking me, or Karen asked me about some of the numbers? Denise had told me that we got roughly 13,000 more dollars from the county.
asked them several times on the, on the accuracy of their reports and what it was based on, and they basically said from an LDAC perspective, this is what we have is final, and there's no way for an LDAC member, representative, or as a group to have any impact on it at all. It was just pretty much a courtesy to let us know what the funding would be coming forward.
We'll see what Felix can find out. I'm extremely grateful to him for what he's been able to do along these lines.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I hope he
Yeah,
gets
I
it.
truly do. Okay, so the next thing up is August 30th. I had the opportunity to meet with two representatives of the Estacada Literary Foundation. Joanne Hedrick, who's on our staff, and I met with Linda Arnett and Lynn Cameron and had a discussion. I had heard that they were open to giving us funds again, and so we kind of opened up the gates a little bit and had a dialogue about getting money again. So I haven't made any request. It seems to have, after October 1st, will be when we can do that. So I think that we should get the money that people have given over the years towards the library. So I'm going to pursue that. And I want to keep our book sale, and Linda understood that. And so I just want to go on from there. Just really want to move on. Okay. Some really interesting developments along the lines of things that we're going to check out for people now. I've been working with Parks and Rec, and we're going to let people check out volleyballs and horseshoes. So you can now check out volleyballs and horseshoes in the library for use in the park. And the other item that we're now going to check out are skateboard locks. If you go out, look by the bike racks, and there's a new skateboard rack out front. And it was built by a man named Joe Bogart and his neighbor, who he hasn't told me his name. He's a little bit shy about getting some recognition for some reason. So they made that themselves. They fabricated it themselves. They welded it. They painted it. They installed it. Paid for everything. I did reimburse them for the locks. We have 5 locks that skateboarders will be able to put it in there and then lock it with a key. And they can check that out with their library card. So really glad that happened. And for, someone in the community to donate that is really excellent. So Joe Bogart did that. The next thing that's
not real, you need to clean the floor well and then apply the sealant, make sure the grout's in good shape and apply the sealant. But it might be something that would be done before, say, a long holiday, a Christmas holiday where the thing's closed for 2 or 3 days and we can get it done and then come in and ventilate it on a daily basis or something. And as far as if there's inadequate airflow, there's what's called balancing of an HVAC system, the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. And there's balancing that can be done, which basically involves they have measuring devices that fit over ductwork, like where the grills are, and they fit them up over there and they determine what the airflow is in and out and what it needs to be. And it may be just a matter of adjustment so that it gets balanced better, which is something that your heating and ventilation contractor would be able to advise you on. That's kind of out of my scope as far as it requires a little bit of equipment to do the testing to really determine what the cubic feet per minute of airflow in and out is. But I've noticed it too. They're kind of stuffy.
Yeah, it's very stuffy, and it just seems like, I know they do a good job cleaning it, and they're here 4 times a week, but it's just something really persistent that won't go away.
Yeah, it needs to be addressed. I think a lot of the smell, the bad odor that's coming is coming probably from the grout lines. That's my guess. It just needs to be addressed, with a sealant, and then it would weed up, or instead of any sort of moisture soaking into those grout lines, even the tile is vitreous, to a degree, and will absorb fluids, moisture, and so it needs to be sealed, and then it'll be water repellent.
Okay, well, I'll pursue that. That seems to be something people need. I mean, it has to be done. Being a homeowner, you can't let that go.
No.
It just really has to get looked at. And, all right, that's about all I have, Karen.
Thank you.
Let's move on to old business, and if that's everything that you want to report on. You folks need to set a meeting time for reviewing the bylaws or setting up a plan to do that. New board orientation for James, so that would be your handoff to establish that time.
Yeah, my only thing is if you could make that after October 15th, and then be there. And if you want to set a date now, or you want to be in touch.
Personally, I'd like to table any sort of motion on this. Just next month is by the 15th. If it's busy for you and you've got a lot of things going, my personal life is very busy right now, but of course that doesn't dictate to the board. But if we could table it till the next meeting and set a date at that time, that would be my preference.
Mind you,
I know it needs to be done, but
You're willing to go along with that?
yeah.
so tabled it is. Next, first item of new business is election of officers. And when you read your minutes, you saw that Suzanne Sager had said she thought she really didn't want to be the treasurer, but that she would be open to being the president. She's done that before. And as we know in our bylaws, the treasurer is sort of an empty suit. The treasurer can't sit as a voting member
that's just kind of my input on it. I don't view the position personally as an empty suit, you know. I think it's,
Yeah, and any concerns you could bring in front of the board, just as,
yeah,
if there were anything of potential problems. So are we going to elect, how does this go, president and then treasurer, or president, vice president, yes. Yeah. I suppose, Bill, with the new treasurer and Michelle, we have to set up something so that the bills can be reviewed. And we'll see, I suppose.
So again, we have to look at the bylaws, because I can't remember what it says, and then that was something that we were going to discuss, so I think we need to discuss it, see what comes of it.
Well, let us move to the election of the board president.
I would like to nominate Suzanne Saber to be president.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Now, we need a vice president. And Janet got to do that this whole last year. Shall we continue in good course, or do we?
Are you willing to be? Sure. I nominate Janet as VP.
second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye. And if the board wants to have a treasurer as provided in the bylaws until such time as that bylaws review, and you're going to set that, we put that aside for next month. So, is there a motion for?
I nominate Craig Bartlett.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote, please.
Aye. Aye. Say aye. Say
Aye.
vote for
I like I.
I think I'll abstain on that one. Okay, duly elected. Janet, you're probably going to have to get another 3-ring notebook. Maybe a D-ring notebook as the poundage of the paper continues to mount. Next, new business, Committee for Building Maintenance Issues.
That's mine again. Yeah, I talked to Craig a few months ago about his idea of having some people who would, you want to explain what your idea was, Craig? Get one.
Well, I just, always looking for ways to put more money into the circulation budget and to, improve the quality of the library. And so my idea, number one, I feel like there should be a number of committees. I think there should be a budget committee. In fact, that one just is a no-brainer to me. That's essential. And I would ask that we also strongly consider that. The building maintenance issues, it's twofold. You have ongoing maintenance issues, and then you have long-term issues surrounding furniture replacement, roof replacement, carpeting replacement, things that are big-ticket items that should be planned for now so that we can start getting monetary, a percentage of each year's budget set aside so that we have those funds available when the roof wears out. It's a 50-year roof, is the galvanum roof is what we were told at the time of the construction. 50 years goes by quick, but the sum of money it will take to re-roof to recruit interested people in doing things like window washing and stuff like that, you know, and whether that's realistic, I don't know. You know, people's time is very valuable, but I know that, you know, in the past we had a very large contingent of people willing to volunteer for the library, and it'd be nice to, you know, people want to contribute, they just don't know where to contribute at times, and not everybody can contribute money out of their wallet, but they may be able to contribute some time, such as the number of times we've gone over and weeded the park, Wade Creek Park, and done cleanup there on a volunteer basis. Great, you know, probably, I don't know how many people that showed up, Barbara, do you think? Maybe
At least 20.
20, 30 of us, you know, and those are donated hours, no expense whatsoever to the city, unless they were paying for the pizza, which they very well might have, you know, so, you know, the idea would be to just relieve some of the financial, take some of the money off of, that's going out for these expenses and put it to other uses.
Okay, I guess I thought you meant also getting kind of a group of construction professionals and people who are experts at various, you know, HVAC people or roofers,
Yeah,
and getting sort of a group of them together to be advisors.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely, that would be the intent, you know, would be, but also I would hope to perform some of the tasks on a volunteer basis, you know, whether that's feasible or not, I don't know, but you don't know until you try, you know, and
So how do we recruit those people? Is this something that you want to be, you want to take that on? Is it just getting professionals in the building trade?
the way you know, the way it would be done would be through word of mouth, the newspaper, and as far as taking it on, I would consider it. It's my workload in my business right now is substantial, so it's not going to be anytime soon. But certainly would be something I would be willing to put some time into.
All right, so maybe if I come up with some kind of wording or some plan to get some people rounded up, then we could talk about it and
Yeah,
it's
if
a way to go.
that would be great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
What about a volunteerism type committee that would be open to looking into finding out what kinds of volunteers would be useful?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I've been thinking about is finding ways to use volunteers because, you know, we do need them. Sometimes we need them when they're not available, but it would be nice. So, yeah.
This is where the Friends of the Library would be nice, and unfortunately, they've been met with basically, you know, we tried to form this group, and it's been basically nothing but disdain and open hostility towards any suggestion of any sort. Oh, and I understand that. I'm certainly not saying you, but you know, it's frustrating when you have people willing to volunteer time and energy, and they come forward with hard work that they put into things, and it's basically said, well, we'll put that under advisement, and it's never discussed again. But this is exactly what a Friends of the Library group is, one of the tasks they could perform, and right down the line with, you know, budget committees, building committees, and getting people involved to the point where then they might be ready to serve on still the framework is still there. It's just that there was just a growing feeling that it was, every time something was brought to the board for such as a format for providing, and this was per ALA standards. It was pulled right out of ALA documentation, but as soon as it was brought forward about board orientation and training, and that was basically taken under advisement, and it was never discussed again. So, and that's just one item. There was several others. So there was a kind of a frustration that that things were brought forward and then they just died. So I think there's people out there that would love to start a friends group, but they need to be treated with there needs to be a receptive atmosphere to people willing to volunteer their time. Otherwise, why should they volunteer their time?
Yeah, I guess I just, I knew that a group was starting, but I never heard anything about it. I mean, I never heard anything about it, like how it was going, who was in it. I have no idea. And this is when Anna was still here, so I don't know. If someone wants to get it going, let's get it going. But I haven't heard a thing about it or how it progressed. Or I know that someone, I think it was Michael Borgo, had tried to get some money from the foundation to incorporate, or I'm not exactly sure what it was, but that was denied. So that's pretty much the last I heard about it. So yeah, let's try to make it work if there are people that want to make it work.
That would look to conclude our new business. So now we have comments. Craig, would you like to lead off with those?
Just want to thank the public for showing up. I just really appreciate each and every one of you showing an interest in how your library functions on a fiscal level and on a real functioning daily level. And I'd like to thank Thea and Julius for continuing to show up and volunteer and provide access to these meetings for people that are unable to attend, so that they can feel involved in how their library functions. It's been said that this is just like any other department within the city of Estacada, but unfortunately that's, in my opinion, that's not true, because this library doesn't just serve the citizens of the city of Estacada. It serves a larger district which incorporates closer to 20,000 people rather than just the several thousand people within the city limits. So thank you very much for showing up.
Well said.
Thank you.
Janet?
Well, yes, I'd like to thank the public for being here, and I'd also like to thank Suzanne Sager, who's not here, for the article that she provided for us last time, which was very informative. So, and about the importance of the library and not just to check out books, but a safe haven kind of place.
Excellent.
reduce
Yeah,
10,000
yeah,
budgets.
because that's what it takes, their rollout, just doing the way they have to.
Competitive bid process, and they do most of it.
Because I could do a lot of, I mean, just everything is talk.
Oh, yeah, we've been very successful.
They can move along like this.